For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On August 12, 1989, the Aguilas Juventud soccer team, 12 boys aged 10 to 12, and their coach Roberto Vargas, 34, disappeared while returning from a tournament in the mountains of Guatemala. The team bus had been traveling through a remote section of the Sierra Madre when they vanished without a trace, leaving no evidence of their fate along the dangerous mountain roads. Military and civilian authorities conducted extensive searches throughout the war-torn region but found no sign of the missing team. For 28 years, their disappearance remained one of Guatemala's most heartbreaking unsolved mysteries, a tragedy that devastated families and a community already struggling with civil war violence. Then, in September 2017, archaeologists investigating pre-Columbian sites made a shocking discovery in a remote cave system that would finally reveal what had happened to the young soccer players and their coach during that fateful mountain journey. This is the complete story of their vanishing and the extraordinary circumstances that kept their fate hidden deep in the Guatemalan highlands for nearly 3 decades. August 12, 1989, began with excitement and pride for the young players of Aguilas Juventud, a community soccer team from the town of Quetzaltenango in central Guatemala. The 12 boys, ranging in age from 10 to 12, had just completed their first regional tournament in the mountain town of Nibij, where they had performed admirably despite being one of the youngest teams in the competition. Coach Roberto Vargas, a dedicated physical education teacher who had founded the team 3 years earlier, was proud of his players' development and sportsmanship throughout the tournament. Despite Guatemala's ongoing civil war creating dangerous conditions throughout the country, Vargas believed that soccer could provide positive opportunities for children in communities affected by violence and poverty. The boys came from working-class families in Quetzaltenango, where their parents had made significant sacrifices to support their participation in organized soccer. Many families had contributed small amounts of money over several months to pay for uniforms, equipment, and transportation to tournaments in other regions of Guatemala. The team had borrowed a school bus for their journey to and from the tournament, with parent volunteer Manuel Herrera serving as driver for the 3-day trip. The bus was old but mechanically sound, and Herrera was an experienced driver familiar with Guatemala's challenging mountain roads. Their planned route home would take them through some of Guatemala's most scenic but dangerous mountain terrain, including areas where guerrilla activity and military operations had created ongoing security concerns. However, the main roads were generally considered safe for daytime travel by civilian vehicles. The team departed Nibij around 10:30 a.m. on August 12, with an expected arrival time in Quetzaltenango of approximately 4 p.m. The journey required navigating mountain roads that were often narrow and winding, but the route was well-traveled and familiar to local residents and commercial drivers. Coach Vargas had planned several rest stops along the way, both for the boys' comfort and to allow them to see some of Guatemala's beautiful highland scenery. The team was in high spirits, discussing their tournament performance and looking forward to sharing their experiences with families and friends back home. The last confirmed sighting of the team bus came around 1:15 p.m. at a small roadside market in the village of San Juan Cotzal, where they had stopped to purchase refreshments and allow the boys to stretch their legs. Local residents remembered the soccer team because of their matching uniforms and obvious excitement about their tournament participation. Market vendor Elena Morales later told investigators that Coach Vargas had asked about road conditions ahead and had been advised that recent rains had made some mountain sections muddy but still passable for vehicles with experienced drivers like Herrera. When the team failed to arrive in Quetzaltenango by 6 p.m., parents initially assumed they had encountered delays due to road conditions or mechanical problems that were common on mountain journeys. However, as evening progressed without any contact, families became increasingly concerned about their children's safety. The initial search began on the evening of August 12 when several parents drove partway along the expected route, looking for signs of the team bus or evidence of breakdown or accident. The mountain roads were dark and dangerous at night, limiting the effectiveness of informal family searches. Formal search operations began on August 13 with Guatemalan military units and local police coordinating efforts to locate the missing soccer team. The search was complicated by the ongoing civil war, which had created security restrictions and limited resources for civilian rescue operations in remote areas. Military helicopters conducted aerial surveys of the route between San Juan Cotzal and Quetzaltenango, looking for evidence of the team bus or any signs of accident or emergency. However, the dense forest canopy and complex mountain terrain made comprehensive aerial searching extremely challenging. Ground search teams systematically examined sections of the mountain road, checking for evidence of vehicles leaving the roadway or areas where accidents might have occurred. The teams included military personnel, police officers, and civilian volunteers familiar with the challenging highland geography. The investigation revealed that the team bus had not been seen at any of the usual stops or checkpoints along the standard route home. This absence of sightings suggested that something had happened relatively early in their journey, possibly in remote areas where few witnesses would be present. After 2 weeks of intensive searching involving over 200 personnel, the formal military operation was scaled back due to security concerns and resource limitations imposed by Guatemala's Civil War priorities. However, family members and community volunteers continued periodic searches throughout the following months. The case became symbolic of the broader tragedies affecting Guatemalan families during the Civil War period, when disappearances and violence claimed thousands of lives throughout the country. While the soccer team's disappearance appeared to be accidental rather than war-related, it occurred within a context of widespread fear and uncertainty. Throughout the 1990s, as Guatemala transitioned toward peace, the families of the missing soccer players maintained hope and continued advocating for renewed search efforts. The case remained active in missing persons databases, though limited resources were available for cold case investigations. In 1995, the discovery of a burned vehicle in a remote canyon initially raised hopes for resolution, but investigation revealed it was unrelated to the missing soccer team. Such false leads occasionally renewed attention to the case, but didn't provide the breakthrough evidence families desperately sought. The establishment of Guatemala's post-war truth and reconciliation processes provided some hope that missing persons cases like the soccer team might receive renewed attention and resources, though most efforts focused on politically motivated disappearances rather than apparent accidents. Throughout the 2000s, the case remained in official databases while families organized annual memorial services and maintained public awareness of their missing children. The community of Quetzaltenango never forgot the Aguilas Juventud team, and their story became part of local history and collective memory. September 14, 2017, began as an archaeological research day for Dr. Maria Gonzalez and her team from the Universidad de San Carlos, who were conducting a survey of pre-Columbian cave sites in the Sierra Madre Mountains. Their work focused on documenting Mayan archaeological remains that might be threatened by development or environmental changes. The research team was exploring a complex cave system in a remote area approximately 40 kilometers from the main road between San Juan Cotzal and Quetzaltenango. The caves were located in difficult terrain that required hiking and technical climbing skills to access, making them unlikely destinations for casual visitors. Around 2:30 p.m., while documenting cave formations in a large underground chamber, graduate student Carlos Mendez noticed modern materials that seemed out of place in the archaeological context. The items appeared to be clothing and equipment that were much more recent than the Mayan artifacts the team was studying. Closer examination revealed what appeared to be the remains of multiple individuals, along with personal belongings that included soccer equipment and clothing consistent with a youth sports team from the 1980s. The discovery immediately raised questions about how such materials had reached this remote underground location. Dr. Gonzalez immediately recognized the potential significance of the discovery and contacted both university authorities and local police about the findings. The cave system's remote location and difficult access made it unlikely that the materials were from recent accidents or activities. Initial examination revealed personal items that appear to date from the late 1980s, including soccer uniforms, equipment, and identification documents that suggested a possible connection to missing persons cases from that time period. The preservation conditions in the cave had maintained organic materials that would have decomposed in surface environments. The recovery operation required specialized cave rescue techniques and careful documentation to preserve both the archaeological context and any evidence related to missing persons cases. The cave system's complexity and depth made the work dangerous and time-consuming. Among the items recovered were identification documents and personal belongings that definitively linked the discovery to the missing Aguilas Juventud soccer team. Coach Roberto Vargas's identification was found along with team equipment and uniforms that families later recognized as belonging to their missing sons. The cave system's entrance was located in a ravine approximately 200 meters below the main mountain road, in an area where a vehicle accident could potentially result in occupants ending up in the underground chambers. However, the specific circumstances that had led the team to this location remained unclear. Forensic analysis confirmed that the remains found in the cave belonged to the missing soccer team and their coach. The preservation conditions had maintained enough evidence to establish their identities and begin understanding what had happened during their final journey in August 1989. The investigation revealed that the team bus had apparently left the main road and crashed into the ravine system where the caves were located. The impact and terrain had caused the vehicle and its occupants to end up in the underground cave network, where they had remained hidden for 28 years. Evidence suggested that some team members had initially survived the crash but had been unable to escape from the cave system due to its complex layout and the injuries they had sustained. The cave's difficult access and remote location had prevented any rescue efforts from locating them. Personal items found in the cave included a notebook kept by Coach Vargas that documented their tournament experience and provided heartbreaking insights into their final days. The notebook indicated that the team had been proud of their performance and excited about returning home to share their experiences. The cave discovery explained why extensive search efforts in 1989 had failed to locate any trace of the missing team. The crash site was completely hidden from aerial searches and was located in terrain that ground teams had not been able to access during the original search operations. The discovery brought closure to families who had spent 28 years wondering about their children's fate. While learning the circumstances of their deaths was devastating, the knowledge that the boys and their coach had been found together provided some comfort to the grieving families. The case highlighted the extreme challenges of conducting search and rescue operations in Guatemala's complex mountain terrain, particularly during the Civil War period when resources and access were severely limited by security concerns. Dr. Gonzalez and her archaeological team were recognized for their discovery and their sensitive handling of the recovery operation. Their work had finally provided answers to one of Guatemala's most enduring missing persons mysteries while advancing archaeological research in the region. The cave where the soccer team was found has been sealed and marked as a memorial site, honoring their memory while preventing similar accidents. The discovery led to improved safety measures for vehicles traveling on mountain roads in the region. The community of Camaltenango organized memorial services for the Aguilas Juventud team, finally able to properly honor the boys and their coach after nearly 3 decades of uncertainty. A permanent memorial was established at the local soccer field where the team had practiced and played. The story of the Aguilas Juventud soccer team serves as both a tragedy and a testament to the dedication of young athletes and their coach who were pursuing their dreams despite the challenges facing their community during Guatemala's Civil War period. The 28-year delay in discovering their fate illustrates how effectively complex natural terrain can conceal evidence of accidents, even during extensive search operations. The cave system had completely hidden their remains while remaining inaccessible to conventional search techniques. For Guatemalan emergency services and archaeological organizations, the case provided crucial lessons about the intersection of rescue operations and scientific research in remote areas. The discovery demonstrated how archaeological work could unexpectedly resolve cold cases. The persistence of family members in keeping the case active and organizing memorial events contributed to the public awareness that made Dr. Gonzalez's discovery immediately recognizable as significant when the remains were found. The case demonstrates how natural disasters and accidents can claim lives in ways that make recovery extremely difficult, particularly in countries with challenging geography and limited search and rescue resources. Archaeological research continues throughout Guatemala's highlands, with scientists now more aware of the potential for discovering evidence related to missing persons cases. The intersection of archaeological survey work and forensic investigation provided an unexpected resolution to this decades-old tragedy. As of 2017, new protocols encourage archaeological teams to report any modern materials or human remains discovered during research activities, ensuring that such findings receive appropriate investigation and that families can receive closure about missing relatives. The Aguilas Juventud team's legacy lives on through improved road safety measures and continued archaeological research that honors both Guatemala's ancient heritage and the memory of those who have been lost in the country's challenging but beautiful mountain landscapes.